Okay, so for today's topic, we're going to be going through creating some customized courses. We'll run through that functionality and what that looks like from your teacher center. But let's go through some updates. If there's anything that you would like to share in the comment box, or in this case, you can always unmute. We just wanted to get an idea of how things are going. The last session we had was diving into data. Was there anybody on the line that pulled any data and found it very helpful, or any best practices you'd like to share? So I guess in this case, Matthew, if you have anything you'd like to share, please do put it in the comments when it came to any of the data that we conducted in the last webinar. And remember, all the documents are in your hub, and I believe Andrew just shared that in the chat as well. So it will be posted in there as well. And the session is being recorded. Okay. So where I wanted to start off with is, where do we start when we're looking at customized courses? The areas that will probably pull some of that data to see if we need to create modified courses for students is within the student reports. I find that to be the best report to look at based on any kind of modifications I want to create to an individual or to a class. And what that looks like is the strengths and weaknesses. So the reason why I find this report to be valuable is that as a teacher, we can see an overall arching theme. If there are general weaknesses across the board that is very similar for all students, that indicates to me that I might need to adjust the whole course content for all my students. Or if I review this by individuals, then I can also see strengths and weaknesses here as well, and adjust according to maybe their weaknesses, filling in those gaps and giving more of a robust opportunity for them to practice a little bit further into that particular unit or concept. So student reports is definitely a good guiding tool when you're creating a customized course. And we ran through that in the last session, but I will quickly show you that once we go live in the Teacher Center. So why do we want to create customized courses? These are courses for students that might have IEPs, students that are on modified curriculum, or again, students that have strengths and weaknesses in the student report that you identified to be areas that you want to target. All of the documents for support are also in the Help Hub. So if you do need any kind of printable documents, I do recommend going through that Help Hub area, and this is located within your teacher area. Okay. So let's go live into the teacher platform to actually show you what it looks like when we want to modify a course. As I mentioned, the Help Hub is located right up top here. Just also make note of any of the videos that are updated on the main screen, because they do give an update of what's new, so it's kind of nice to keep up to date with new functionalities. So to go back to that student report, that is located underneath reports. So right now I can see 5 tabs. If I click on the student report, that is going to indicate to me strengths and weaknesses. So this could be a good guiding tool if I want to make any modifications, or if I know I have students on IEPs or modified curriculum, then you don't need to worry about this document, but that is a helping document if you do need to make any adjustments. Where we're going to spend most of our time today is underneath courses and tests. So the two areas here are My Courses and View and Copy Courses. If you're creating a brand new course for the first time, then you're going to use the editing feature, which is the View and Copy Courses. So for example, if I'm a grade 3 teacher and I want to take the grade 3 content for Ontario, but I want to make modifications to it, this is where I would do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that Ontario grade 3 course. I'm going to click on the drop down for Canada. Then I'm going to filter by grade, and then all the provincial curriculum is going to come up here. So I would find the corresponding Ontario course that I would like to make edits to. And the best rule of thumb here is find the course that you would like to keep majority of the content in there. That way you're only just deleting and adding in minor tweaks. So I'm going to take Ontario Grade 3, and you can see I have two options that will pop up here. View the course. So this is a way for you to see what's in the course content to see if this is the right course you'd like to make modifications to, or use this course as a template. And that basically means this is going to be kind of like the spine, and I'm going to make modifications to it. So I'm going to click Use this course as a template, and this naming convention comes up. So when you create a customized course, it will go underneath your school umbrella. So if Johnny, who's a teacher, creates a course that's called Grade 3 and I create a course that's called Grade 3, it's going to be really hard to differentiate which one it is because they have the same naming convention, and they're all underneath the same school. So ideally, you want to name the course associated to yourself, maybe your last name, maybe your room number, any kind of naming convention that would make sense to you. So I'm putting in my last name, and I'm going to write Grade 3, and I'm going to write Test 111 because I'm sure I have this naming convention in there already. And then you want to filter it out by the grade. This will make more sense when I show you how you allocate this course to a group of students. So filter this out to the appropriate audience you think you would have this course to. So in my case, I would say any of my students that are in grade 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you have to select 4 consecutive grades. Okay. And I'm just going to simply click the check mark. And then it also brings me into the editing field. So at this point, I can see the grade 3 content. So right now on this left-hand side, these would be all the units in the Ontario grade 3 content. And when I click on it, so number, sense, counting, and place value, it's going to show me the activities in each of the units. So depending on which unit you're focusing in on, so let's say we are working on place value right now, and I scroll through this and I said, my class knows which is smaller and which is bigger quite easily. I'm going to just simply delete these activities. So I click on the red X and it will ask you again if you want this to be removed. I say, yep, I'm going to click on the X again. I'm also going to remove which is bigger. Okay, so I remove those two. And it doesn't want to seem to remove this for me. Let's try this again. Might be a bug, but essentially it would be gone from that particular unit. Okay. So if I go through most of the units and I say, I've made my edits, I've deleted most of them, I can even delete full units here as well. You have two options. You can then go back to that particular unit and you can add activities here, or you can even create a new topic. The new topic is a great feature because it basically adds a new unit, and this could be anything from a review unit to an extension within a unit. So depending on how you want to name it. So as soon as I put review unit, it will come to the bottom here and it shows empty, so nothing in here. Okay, so you have a couple options of how you want to name that new topic. Now, if I want to add activities to this, all I'm going to say is add topic and activities here on the far right. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up some options here. So the best way to look at it is I want to amalgamate areas within grade 4 and maybe within grade 2. So I would find a Mathletics course, let's say in grade 4. So I'm going to, again, filter by country and grade, and then find the provincial course. So I'm going to go to Ontario grade 4, and it's going to bring up all those units. So if I find the unit I would like to maybe add some review to, let's say I need a little bit more in the multiplication, I'm going to just simply click on the arrow and open it up, and it's going to show me activities here. So at this point, I can even fully drag this unit into here if I wanted to. So if I wanted to just simply drag a full unit, I could do that. Or if I wanted to drag some activities, I can do so by putting it here. So you'll notice right away, as soon as I add an activity in here, that unit test starts to create. The algorithm there is that it would take 2 questions from each of the activities to create that unit test. So it's automatically done for you when you create a new unit. Now, if I go to, let's say, this particular one that's already in here, multiplication and division, so I already have a unit in here. And if I open that one up, I can see the activities in here. So at this point, I can see what maybe is already in this particular unit. If I simply drag one of these in here, if it's a duplicate, it will warn you before you add it. So if you don't want a duplicate activity in here, you can simply say, no, I don't want to add that in there. It already exists. So as you go through it, it's a great indicator because you can see what's already in there because it gives you a warning. For this particular one, multiplication turnarounds or turnabouts are the ones that are not in here. So I simply added that one in there and it allows me to add it without knowing that it's a duplicate. Okay. I also have the options to change the sequence of them by simply dragging them up top. You can also do so with any of the units as well. Okay. So if I go back to my review unit, I added one in this particular unit. I added something into the review. I'm going to add a little bit more into here because you do need, I believe, a minimum of 3 activities to save it. So let's say I'm going to add some fractions in here. And I say, this is good. So this is enough for me to think this is a good course, and now I want to maybe allocate this to a group of students. So at this point, I'm going to save it. Okay. So this is telling me that something easier for the review topic that I just created is empty, and that's okay. So the something easier is just something that the students can do while they're doing the activities, and it allows for something that's a little bit easier for them before they do that particular unit. But I'm going to say that's okay. I still want to save it. And now my course is successfully saved. So what does that mean? The course is saved. I made edits to it. Now I need to give that to a particular student or to a group of students. So what I would do is I would go back to my course, my classes, and that's where you would differentiate your group of students. So originally we went through this and we showed you how to create those different ability groups here by simply creating a group for students that are either at a higher or lower grade level. So you can see I've created different groups here, but now I want to create a group that's either allocated to that course, or you have the option to adjust maybe any of the groups here by giving them that course content. So I'll show you how it looks for both. So let's say I want this test group to have access to that course I just created. If I simply click on the edit icon, I can change the course here. So you can see they're on Ontario grade 3. What I want to do is change the course. And in this case, instead of choosing country, you're going to scroll all the way to the top and you're going to choose school courses instead. So now your filter is all about your school courses. And then this is where it would bring up the grade. So you remember I ticked grade 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's where it would differentiate that course by either, if I click on grade 2, 3, 4, or 5, that course will show up. So if I click on grade 3, you can see I have a lot of courses here. So this is the course that I've created for that test. And I click on that and I simply click the check mark. And it now means that that group right here has now been given that course content. So if I click on it, you can see it says they are on this course. That is the same rule of thumb when you add a group as well. So if I want to say grade 3, and I'm going to say modified, and I add the group, I would go through the same process as changing the course. Again, choosing my school course, filtering by grade, and again, finding that course. So there is a couple ways that you can make those adjustments. Okay, so that's how you would allocate to a group of students. Now, let's say you've created this course, you really liked it, but you forgot to make an adjustment and you want to go back and make edits to that course. You can still make those edits. just because you've finalized the course doesn't mean that it's published and done. You can always go back and make adjustments. How you would do so is going back to the courses area, and instead of going through the edit area, you're going to go through my courses. So my courses is going to show you two views. It's going to show you the courses that you're using. So these are all the courses that I'm using underneath the differentiation feature in classes, meaning that I've put students on different courses. Okay, so you can see even that one that I've created is here as well. And then I can also go up to the top and filter by authored courses, and that means courses that I've made adjustments to. So I would find that course, here it is, and if I simply highlight it, you can see I have options below. I can use this course as a template, but in this case I want to modify the course. The difference between modifying a course and using this course as a template is the modification allows you to make modifications to that exact course. So you're not creating anything new. When you're using this as a template, that basically means I want to create a different course with different names, so that I would have two courses that would be different that I can offer. Okay. If we go back to the courses I'm using, I do want to make note of one feature here, because there was a teacher at one point that asked me when we were in Timmins and we were conducting that in-person training on how do we show and hide course content. That is here. So if I click on any of the courses that I can show my students, I have the option to show and hide the course content here. So by clicking on that, you'll see that there is an eye feature here. So by simply clicking on the eye, it basically hides this full unit. Okay, so that just makes the view for the students limited, only exposing the content that you want them to go through. Okay. So those are the two areas when it comes to courses that you would want to start off. And again, view and copy courses is where you would start, create the course from there. The My Courses is where you can always go back and make edits to it. And then once the course is something that you want to allocate to students, you would do so underneath the Classes tab by either allocating it to a group of students or to an individual. So that's kind of the process when it comes to courses. So let's jump back into the slideshow. Okay. So what's next? I do recommend everyone trying to create a course. Even if you don't use it, go in and adjust and create and then kind of let it sit there, because it gives you an opportunity to just work with that tool and see how user-friendly it is. It is quite easily adaptable and easy to edit. So I do encourage everyone to try and create a customized course. And hopefully everyone is still using that roadmap that we've created. There are tips in there for every month, so it is definitely a good reference point if you're looking on what you want to focus on this particular month or maybe the next month in March. So I do encourage you to continuously look at that roadmap. So let's open it up and see if anyone had any questions about the course content or any areas that you would like me to dive a little bit deeper into. No questions or comments?
Nothing from me. That was really, really good.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully everybody feels a little bit more confident in using that customized course creator. That is all we have for today. If you have any questions as you're going through it, again, please reach out to myself or Suma, and we can definitely connect to help you with any kind of further exploration through that functionality. And that's all we have for today. I will send this recording to Andrew, and I appreciate everyone coming out today. Have a great day. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Daisy.
Bye.